that again. If you saw the last video of chapter 7, I did the exact same thing. Also, I'm in the same outfit. And thank you for, it might happen again. Right now, the clouds are my favorite in this video. Can we all get like a hand clap down below? As I explained last video, I live in the Northeast. Yay! We have 300 days of cloudy weather. The sun does not like us here. I actually low-key love gray weather. I used to live in the South, and very sunny, very happy, and every once in a while we get a really great day like we're having right now, and I'll be like, I grew up in this, and people are like, how did you survive? I'm like, obviously I did. I'm standing here. It's just the way of life. So we're going into chapter 8 of the Sorcerer's Stone. I like to talk about Harry Potter. I like to do art. We are trying to figure out how to get everything done in my life, and have this little channel too. Thank you. Follow me on Instagram. Instagram's a little more easier for me to handle. Honestly, like, not like, I don't have any followers over there either, but Instagram's a little more easier content wise to like get, because it's mostly shorter content. Where we left off was chapter 7. Harry had a fever dream of being Quirrell's turban and having an argument with it about being in Slytherin. So it's the first week of classes. Looking when I wrote this, it's the first day because I wasn't thinking. That's the only chapter. It was the first day, but no, it's the first week. Which honestly, like, if you've been in college or high school or anything with a new school, you understand this week getting lost. You know, people don't necessarily like help you sometimes. Like, it's just people got places to be. Yeah, so when I was in high school, there was 2 high schools. My school was huge. I think I had a map on my binder the first year for a little bit. Not positive. Okay, I can't remember. I vaguely remember printing out a map. Although most of us didn't have to do open mid staircases and doors that, like, you know, work on some days and others, and that's what Harry was dealing with. Hogwarts is a very disorienting place if you don't know how to get around, and the ghosts are helping, but luckily Sir Nicholas would point the first years in the right direction. There's staircases that move, staircases that lead you one place on Friday, another place on another day. Like, you know, it has to be confusing. Once again, these are 11-year-olds. Keep in mind that maybe 12-year-olds, but like, we're talking this age range of kids living in a strange new place, trying to get to classes, being responsible. Ron and Harry get lost, and they end up at the 3rd quarter that they're not supposed to be going at, and Filch was just not having it. Didn't believe them. So Filch, I'm sure he's not a fan of students, and the students aren't a fan of him. And his cat, Mrs. Norris, is kind of his eyes, and Filch will just, if you one toe out of line, and Filch was there if Mrs. Norris saw you. Because Filch knows, like, all the secret passages and ways, and just popped out of nowhere like a ghost. And the only 2 people probably know the secret passages better are the Weasleys. But we know they found the Mars map, and I can't remember what year they were that they found the Mars map. We'll go over that. So, like, on Wednesday nights they have to study, and their telescopes in night skies, and, you know, all the constellations and stars. Truth, I was reading this at 5:30 in the morning, like today, and I'm just like, man, I'm such a morning person. That, like, being a night out and having to do classwork at night has to be exhausting. Let me know if you're a morning and night person. I'd love to hear it. And then, like, he's talking about, like, Professor Benz in the history class and how boring that is. We've all had boring classes. That doesn't, like, although, to be fair, like, I would like to know history and magic. Just, you love history, but you asked me to know names, places, dates, like, any combination of, like, all of it. I'm not. Off topic. If you want to know my opinions on King Louis XIV, the king that built Versailles, and his character, I would love to do a video too on him. Over here in America, we discuss Henry VIII frequently. Henry VIII is insane compared to this man. Anyway, now that we've gotten off topic, and they have herbology, which, to be honest, sounds very up my alley. And then they have Professor Flitwick and Charms, and he's this short old man, not old man, wizard, and he has to stand on books to see over his desk, and he's like calling out, like, roll call, and then he gets to hear his name, and he kind of does like this like glee move and falls off his books. And then they have Transfiguration with Professor McGonagall, and she goes over everything, and she transforms her desk into a pig and back again, and everyone's like amazed, like they want to do that, but of course, like, she goes over, like, Transfiguration can be like some of the most dangerous magic out there, also the most complicated. You gotta be careful, so they have to write down unnecessary note, not unnecessary, but crazy notes, and then you have to start with turning a matchstick and a needle. But also, my thought was, like, I do crafting. You lose needles, just you name it, and it probably happens. I'm like, that would be a useful thing to have. If you're sewing, you can't find a needle, you can turn a matchstick into a needle, or probably anything small. At least in my world, very, very useful. And then everyone's excited about Defense Against the Dark Arts with Professor Quirrell, but they just kind of find that's a joke. His room smells like garlic. And we all know that Professor Quirrell has kind of lost it and is paranoid. Also, sir, you're paranoid. You have Voldemort hanging back of a turban, and no one knows it. Like, that would make anyone mad if you had a talking face in the back of your head. But anyways, Drew smells like garlic, because he's paranoid that the vampire that he met in Romania is going to find him. No, Albania, not Romania. Right? Yeah, Romania. And then he goes on a story about how his servants from this wizard in Africa for saving his life, kind of thing, and no one believes it. But, like, it makes me wonder, though, like, interaction with Voldemort and Quirrell. Ron and Harry, so it's like Friday, it's in the school week, everyone's excited. They're excited because they didn't get lost going into the Great Hall. And Harry's, like, kind of getting used to all the owls, like, swooping in at breakfast and delivering one smell. And he gets a letter from Hagrid, and it's, like, his first, like, kind of mail, finally, and he's not getting much mail anyway, right? Like, he doesn't know hardly anyone, and so Hagrid invites him to tea, which is nice, and he's looking forward to tea that day, and of course, like, they get to potions, and it's a double class, which I'm not sure how classes work, but we had double classes, especially when it came to science, because you had your class and you had your lab, and Snape, like, is favoring the Slytherins, and Harry and Ron kind of wish that McGonagall favored the Gryffindors. Same. but she's the teacher that you appreciate later in life. I had a couple, hated them growing up, and then you kind of get into it and you figure them out, and you're like, I appreciate you. And Snape does roll call book day, and he gets to Harry, and he's like, our new celebrity. And poor Harry, he didn't choose this life. So Snape starts grilling him about ingredients and potions, and Harry's probably what I imagine kind of dumbfounded and freezes up, right? Because he wasn't expecting this. It's the first class of the school year, not of that class, right? Once again, we've had classes where the first day is kind of easy. You get the intro, you get the syllabus, whatever kind of thing, because you have all year. Then you have classes like this where it's jump in, and you're like, what the hell? And Hermione at the time, and Harry's like, I don't know. It's raising her hand higher and higher. And Harry finally makes the comment of Hermione seems to know. And Snape loses it and tells Hermione to sit her butt down. And he goes on this starts explaining all these ingredients. I can't see him in my viewfinder. I might be able to see him recording. And everyone's just kind of like, what? And Snape's like, why is anyone writing this down? You get McGonagall, who's kind of strict and fair, and then you get Snape. But after Snape rambles on about this, right? He is just looks at everyone who's not writing any of this down. I think it's a teacher that's it just rambles, and then he's just like, oh yeah, I talked about this random thing. Why wasn't anyone paying attention? It's I didn't know this was part of the class. Well, the bell rang, you're here, it's class. Seems like that kind of teacher. So then they get onto whatever that word was that came out of my mouth. Brewing a simple cure for boils potion. Neville's having a rough time, and poor Neville. And also, there's a theory that Snape is so after Harry. I don't know if it's because he wants him to do better, kind of thing, or the fact that he hated his father, James Potter, so darn much, and Harry looks so much like James that it's just I can't stand this. My tormentor has his son, who's the boy who lived, and anyway, Neville is having a rough time. He melts James's cauldron with his and then eventually everyone is kind of standing on their stools. Terrified, right? But Neville's covered in boils and screaming, and Snape comes over and blasts him, and then blames Harry for his mistake. You didn't correct him, how dare you? You wanted him to look bad so you'd look better. Also, during this time, Malfoy's doing no wrong. And I'm thinking, is it because he's Slytherin, or is because his father's kind of powerful, and they were Death Eaters together, and all of that thought process. And also, Harry during this period loses 2 house points, and he's kind of they're going to lunch, and they're Harry's kind of down, and Ron's don't worry about it. Snape takes away points from friend George all the time. Once again, kind of theory that especially Gryffindors, Snape's out for them, right? You look at Snape wrong if you're a Gryffindor, and you get points taken away. So Ron asks Harry if he can go see Hagrid, and Harry says yes. And they meet Hagrid's big dog Fang, who's a boarhound. And Harry's just kind of Snape hates me, and Hagrid's that's rubbish. Also, find out Hagrid's not fan of Filch either, and with Fang to me, Mrs. Norris one of these not implying they'd be great friends. No, Penguin like killed the cat, or at least scared the bejesus out of her. And and the subject quickly changed to like Ron's brother Charlie, who's in Romania, studying dragons, and we all know Hagrid loves dragons. Harry finally picks up the paper, and he sees that he heard on the train that Gringotts was attempted robbery. So I don't know that like the story was like the continuation of the investigation, but it's leaked that it's the same day that Harry and Hagrid were there. It's the same about that Hagrid took the package out of, and Harry's like mentioning this, and like Hagrid's not really giving any thought to it, like just passing it off. But of course, Harry, that's all I could think about going to lunch is like, or like back up to the school. I think it's the afternoon, so like maybe dinner time. About like, thank goodness Harry got the package and this and that, and like no one was hurt. Like just like mind reeling. Things happen, and you find out something like strange happened like before or after, and like all of a sudden you're like, wow, that was lucky. And I'm sure that's like kind of how his head went. So and that's where the chapter leaves off. Stay tuned for chapter 9. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear them. Thank you for listening to mine and my ramblings. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I've enjoyed talking about it, and I will see you next time. Working on painting. Have some short videos coming out on Instagram and on here. Thank you for your views, and I appreciate you. Until next time, be safe, stay strong. I love you. I'm Lola AnnaBelle.